This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Spam Jam Executive Edition. My name is Vladimir, I'm your host, and today we are with our CEO, Nick. Hi, Nick.
Hey, Vladimir.
How is it going?
Good. How are you today? Thank you for inviting me. It's an exciting opportunity to talk to you guys, everybody. Thank you for sharing this event with us, and I hope you would enjoy what we are talking about too. The spam we are going to deliver to you today.
Right. Yeah, Nick has been in tech for 3 decades, right? So you've seen all these technical revolutions from, .com, then cloud, and nowadays this AI hype. So today we will cover 2 topics. One will be mostly how to say no to AI. Yeah.
Mission impossible.
Impossible. Yeah. And the second topic will be more about who is winning, startups, small companies, or enterprises, or nobody is winning. So we will discuss it.
There's no war. Okay, anyway.
Okay, we'll discuss. We'll touch this point. So let's start with the first topic. Mm-hmm. And since you've seen multiple of these tech revolutions, yeah, what is such a special in current AI hype or wave, or how to call it better?
First of all, I appreciate your compliment. You consider me too young, because I've seen the move from mainframes to PCs way before the internet and dot boom and everything else. And I can tell you that the biggest difference today is the speed, the pace, how AI actually penetrates and in effect conquers the world. In the past, people wouldn't realize even what happened. I remember the first usage of email was for academic world, and some people who had access to that considered that helpful and would use it for communication. But nobody would expect that without an email, you almost have no identity in the world. That required almost 25 years before it became a reality. Even with World Wide Web, similar. It was fun, I remember very serious people would say, never, I would never trust my credit card to any website in the world. And Bill Gates would say, forget about that, that's bullshit, it's not interesting. And now that's, the internet is just like something.
Yeah.
And then what happened? On the contrary, 2 years ago, the appearance of OpenAI with all that real, was shocking. The revolution was shocking. And everybody is affected. And people who don't adapt, who don't try to become a part of that AI world are just losers. Everybody understands that. And that, by the way, creates the problem you are discussing today, yes or no, and hype, and so many new offerings in the market, because people understand that they just cannot say no, and they don't know how to say yes. So
that's a good point. That's a good point. And following your speech, so if you're talking about such a huge speed or pace, so these tools appear on the daily basis, new tools, new platforms, everything from agents, MCP nowadays, all these things are happening on a daily basis. What we learned last week is already obsolete this week, right? So, for non-IT companies, for companies which are not focusing on the daily basis on these things, how to manage it all, how to skip on this pace?
Well, I'm pitching that for a while already. I believe that it's technically impossible for every business in this world to create their own AI department. It's very different from, IT support or some sysadmin sitting in the corner. That doesn't work like that. Exactly because of the reasons you mentioned, the number of new solutions, tools, agents, paradigms, LLMs, and all of even the terminology, to follow the terminology. If a CEO of an average industrial, let's say, company tries to follow all of those trends, he will not have time to do his work, So that's, from my perspective, that will fragment the landscape in a way that the professional AI management companies will be partnering with actually end users, with businesses, and helping them to decide which tools might be most helpful and beneficial for the business for the purpose of that particular business, and helping them also to find technical solutions and install and maintain and support and all of that. So I think this is the very important piece which somehow is often missed. We have all of those Microsoft and Googles who are actually making solutions and putting it in the market, and we have all the startups creating new agents and things like that. And finally, we have businesses, and the question is, who's in between? Who is the glue? How do we bridge those two? I believe that there will be quite a few businesses in the market, in the IT space, offering solutions for businesses to use AI. So that's the way how they should
Okay,
address it.
cool. And we will talk about the management. Let's talk about mid-sized companies, because I believe that enterprises usually they do have enough power potentially. Yeah. But let's talk about mid-sized companies. Yeah. So usually they don't have, as you said already, AI lab. They don't have a lot of capabilities to learn it all. Yeah. At the end of the story, they need somehow to make a decision whether this concrete topic is another one hype or it's potentially game changer for the business. Yeah. How can management of the company make such a decision, even though they are working with a professional service company? They need by themselves to make a final decision whether this direction is proper for a business or not. Which measurements probably they should use for that? I don't know.
I mean, this is you ask a very good question. In the previous answer, I referred more to kind of like implementation part, the technical, rather than the business consulting side of that, understanding of which AI solutions might impact the market share, the return on investment, the cost, whatever, the top line. That is, I think, also probably would belong eventually to professionals. There will be consultants, companies who are able to understand the business as well as the potential benefit of applying certain AI solutions. But the general answer here is actually different. You know what business acumen means, right?
Of
something
course.
what your gut's feeling, yeah?
Yeah.
And I think that every leader of the mid-size company who wants to be at least on the same level as his competition, or maybe even ahead of the competition, they need to trust themselves. They need to watch the trends, and they need to think of, oh, there's something which I didn't think about yet, but now with AI tools I can do it. So they have to keep themselves reasonably educated. Read the news, AI news every morning, at least for 15 minutes,
Okay.
after the physical 15 minutes exercise.
Okay, cool. Great. Since our topic is how to say no to AI, I would ask you a question. Have you ever already said no to any of AI projects? Maybe internal ones.
No, I'm an enthusiast and I'm crazy. So I hear like my colleagues, the executive team, they would say no from time to time, but I'm always pushing forward yes. So I'm not at the no culture. I'm the yes culture. I think that it is inevitable. You cannot avoid adapting AI. And from my perspective, the main question is not how to say no. The main question is how to say yes in the right place and get the best return on the investment.
Okay, great. I will drop a question to our audience. Guys, if you ever said no to any of AI projects and if you gain the benefits out of that, please share in the comments. It would be great to know. And following this topic, since as you said, so management should be somehow educated in AI, yeah? And there are different types of managers. Some enthusiastic like you, who is more like a pushing more AI.
Excuse me interrupting for a second.
Sure.
First of all, I always distinguish between management and entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So entrepreneurs must do it. Managers to the extent, so as long as they want to become eventually the leaders of the company, they should. Otherwise...
Yeah, so the one of the questions from my side was like, okay, if you're afraid to start using something new and you're not sure, yeah, and especially if you are not well educated in what AI is, and it's kind of risky, and we've seen a lot of cases already when companies were probably too fast implementing AI and lost money because of that, yeah, because they were not very careful, yeah, probably a lot of managers and C-level people will try to, let's say, resist. Okay, I would probably do it later. What's your impression? Is it, I know already probably an answer, but still, is it the right way to keep companies safe? Because otherwise, if you are too fast, yeah, you may start losing money just because you start implementing AI and all these new tools without even any evaluation of it. So what's the balance here?
Well, I already said, the professionals So you need to rely on partnership with professionals. So basically, over time, we will have proper processes in place, and probably a few years along the road, it will be easier to answer your question by concrete pointing out to certain companies or solutions or processes or whatever. As of today, I think the journey starts with an idea of the company leadership that we believe that doing that with the help of AI, we would achieve that and that. And before you start throwing money, especially before you rush to hire people in the market, you should probably turn to professionals who would do a little project, consulting project, and help you estimate the return on this investment. And is it really, first of all, is it really plausible? I mean, is it going to work? And what would be the outcome? Because what I've seen, especially in terms of hiring, okay, now I have the great idea, let me hire 2 or 3 great engineers, and they would solve the problem. By the time the engineers understand the problem, Google will hire them. So that's one of the probably stupid ideas where people fail, as you asked me, when the projects fail. I think sometimes jumping into implementation before perfectly planning and understanding and creating the necessary environment for the solution, understanding how the business processes would change after the implementation is finished. This is a mistake. This is the place where businesses lose money if they start too quick.
Okay. But coming back to your first answer related to the fast pace of AI, if you will start spending time on implementation, on planning, you will lose 6 months before you're planning, and the whole infrastructure already changed. How to keep somewhere in between? Because if you are too fast, you are losing. If you are too doing all this planning too long, you are again losing. How not to lose?
I believe me or not, I think I do. Even here, I have an answer. You mentioned, again, the question number 1, right? You mentioned all the series of revolutions, but you forgot to mention one where I'm personally proud to be one of the pioneers. In the beginning of 2002, we've been already doing extreme programming projects. So I've been one of the evangelists of agile software engineering, which is probably not even known for the rest of the world outside of the IT. But I think the solution to your question is agility. So if you do it like in a waterfall area, all of the steps which I described is one thing. But if you do quick prototyping and act as a really a agile, like we do it in agile software engineering, that might be a way to meet or face this challenge which you just mentioned.
Okay, so it will be a new era of agile AI.
I already vote for AAI. It has to be. It must be agile AI. Because with the speed of AI, you cannot be slow and, like a mastodon, like a oil tanker.
Right. Okay, so let's try to look at 2030, 2035. Yeah, 5 years ahead.
Don't do it.
No, just wondering, what's your vision on AI in 2030? Will be it's something pretty much standard like cloud at the moment, so something like a
standard is not the right word, but it definitely will be more established. There will be all the necessary regulatory acts, and the governments and the businesses will learn how to do it. A lot of these issues of how do we protect the risks, how we evaluate even the risks of doing something also will be formalized in a better way. And last but not least, what is important, most of the so-called AI experts today being hunted by the giants are actually just software engineers or programmers yesterday. They were never trained, they were not educated, they don't know. They pick it up as we go. Right. And in 5 years from now, I'm sure that the universities, the best universities in the world, will start training people. So the labor market also will be better prepared to actually help approach this the new world of AI. That's from the technology. Talking about technology position, technology positioning, if you will. If you talk about general life, I'm even scared. I'm not a science fiction writer. but it's really scary. I mean, I think that the way how people start thinking, even me, I mean, I cannot, please don't tell it to anybody, but I cannot live a day without ChatGPT. I always consult for this and that reason. You know, I mean, I have questions, and it's so convenient to get kind of looks like professional answers. Of course, you have to be doubtful, but still. And just thinking about my children who will be also doing ChatGPT instead of doing their homework, and so on and so forth. How that would impact the world in 5 years, I don't even dare to think of, not to mention to predict.
Yeah, one keynote speaker on our event we've been like a couple of days ago said that the world going to be changed because previously it was important how much do you know by yourself, and with AI it would be important not how much do you know, because knowledge is available, but the question will be how good you can prompt to get a proper response. Do you agree with that?
Almost. I actually love it. I mean, if I were given a chance for my second life, I would definitely become a prompt engineer, because I believe I can do it very nicely, correcting and things like that. But why I say almost is because once you do a proper prompt and you get your piece of knowledge, the most important is how you apply it, how to use it. So the future is in both good prompting and ability to interpret, criticize, and apply what you learned.
Okay.
Of
Good point. So let's try with 5 blitz questions, if you may.
Sure.
Okay. One word for AI hype today.
Exciting.
Okay. Data or intuition, what will drive decision making?
Oh my God. You know what? Can I say more than one word?
Definitely.
Information is a mother of intuition.
Okay.
Which means that the properly structured data helps the intuition.
Okay.
It's not either
it's
or.
Not either or. Okay. Good point. First question before approving AI funding.
Oh, ROI, return on investment. Did you estimate what you get from that?
Okay. Build in-house or with partners?
Partners, for sure.
Okay. Yes or no, AI should replace strategic decision making?
Never.
Never.
We just talked a few seconds ago about that.
Yeah.
You use AI to educate yourself, to find information, to compare, but any decisions, strategic decisions, hopefully will stay in the human hands.
In human intelligence.
For quite a while.
Okay, great. So we covered the first topic, how to say no to AI. I suppose we covered even more than this topic. All right. Thank you very much, Nick. Thank you for a great conversation. And thank you all for joining our special edition Spam Jam. If you have any thoughts related to all the topics we discussed today, please share it in the comments. And of course, stay with us, subscribe to our social media, and you will see new episodes quite soon.
And I apologize for too much spam, so please make sure.
It was cool. Thank you.
Okay.
Easy.
This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.